Afternoon, everybody. This is Dave Thompson, and I am at Angler's Restaurant in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. So if you see people walking behind me, or if you hear background noise, apologies here. I think you can hear what we're doing. Joining me today is Ryan Johnson. He's the youth pastor at Fairview Baptist Church in Decatur, Alabama. And Ryan and I actually crossed paths many years ago, but hadn't really kept up until Isagenix sort of reunited us. And so I asked him if he'd be kind enough to join me today to just kind of share his story and maybe take a couple questions. We don't want to let this go on too long, but long enough to get to meet Ryan and just kind of see where he is in his journey and enjoy celebrating some really cool things with him. So Ryan, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invite.
Awesome. So why don't you just summarize and kind of share what this journey has been like for you? It's we're just barely past the 2-month mark, aren't we?
Yeah, I think if I counted correctly at lunch today, I'm on day 77 today.
77. Okay,
77.
So we're well into our 3rd month then.
Right.
Just tell us about the journey. If somebody said, what have you been doing for the last 2.5 months? What does that look like?
Well, it's been very interesting. First and foremost was Isagenix allowed me to get some nutritional things under control. I have been in the ministry for around 12 years or so, and really struggled with dealing with stress, dealing with having enough time with 2 kids, and balancing ministry. And I just kind of let myself go under the excuse or the guise of helping to minister to other people. So I didn't have time for myself. And about 4 months or so ago, my pastor was in a similar position and had come across you and Isagenix, and he had tried it out and had a wonderful first month. He really did. And but I was very, very skeptical. I'm not a program fan by any means. I like to do creative thinking and planning on my own, even in my own teaching and ministry here. And so I just sat back and watched. And once Pastor got into his 2nd month, it had become impossible to argue with the different elements of the program. And my wife and I had talked our way through it. We saw it as not only a financial investment in the immediate short term, but we also saw it as a health investment in the future. And so we began, before we ever signed up for the program, put a plan together. And that involved some financial decisions, that involved some nutritional decisions. And the first month was great. Was able to join right before a 30-day Isagenix challenge. And so that competitive nature was allowed to kick in, and that just compounded things. And so month 1 was a 35-pound weight loss, but even more so than that, many things began to change health-wise. Blood pressure went down, body swelling in different joints, arthritis symptoms were going away. It was a truly great month health-wise to get it rolling in a very positive direction. Mood leveling out, more energy, just a ton of wonderful benefits from the different components of Isagenix working together to really get some positive momentum going.
That's awesome. That's an amazing thing. And what are some of the at this point where you are now? I know you're beyond the 35-pound mark. What's your latest? What are your latest achievements?
Yep. I typically only weigh in on Fridays, but out of respect to you today, I went ahead and did a Thursday weigh. And so I'm sitting here this morning. I started at 455 and a half, which is a story in and of itself. I did not realize that I was that far beyond. I had started Isagenix thinking I was around 400 pounds. Come to find out, I weighed 55 pounds more than I even thought I did. And that was a pretty big emotional blow to find out. But sitting here today, 402.6. So right at about 53 pounds at the moment released. And it's been nice to get, as a matter of fact, I went out to lunch today at a soul food place here in our town and got a 4-vegetable meal with a friend of mine. And he commented on me having my shirt untucked. He likes to poke fun at me for different things. And 3 months ago, I was wearing my shirt untucked to cover up how tight my pants were. Now I'm wearing my shirt untucked because I haven't bought any new pants and my pants are so loose. So in 2.5 months, I'm still wearing my shirt untucked. So that's kind of what youth pastors do. We're not the cleanest, most organized people in the world. But just one of those little victories that people notice and encourage you with by pointing it out to you.
Do you have any celebrations planned for breaking the 400 barrier?
You know, that I was thinking about that on the way over here. One of the most interesting things that has happened with Isagenix for me versus trying Weight Watchers years ago, or the Atkins diet, or the Zone diet, all these different things that I've tried throughout the years. One of the things that I struggled with in those programs was how to manage victories, how to manage celebrations. For example, with the Weight Watchers, you count your points religiously, but if you hit, a celebratory, mark, how do you celebrate when you've got to count everything? And so my wife and I were talking about last night, and she said, I guess we'll have to celebrate the same way you cheat. And I didn't get it for a second. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, we'll just have to celebrate smart. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. That may mean that we'll try cooking a new dish tomorrow night. If for some reason that I get past 400 by some point this weekend with a great workout, or maybe the cleanse next week pushes me past that. But just figuring out how to celebrate those things in a smart manner, and not just to waste any momentum whatsoever. And plus, there's still a long way to go. So there's going to be, Lord willing, a lot of great celebrations coming.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to get to be a part of those. What has this journey been for you emotionally? Because I remember when I was on my weight loss journey, not having any idea. Really, I didn't anticipate the emotional part of it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we just got back from teen camp a couple of weeks ago, and we go to a teen camp in North Carolina that's up in the mountains. There's a ton of strenuous activities available. This was my 4th time to take this youth group, and in the first couple of years, the kids had never even asked me to join them on their hikes or on their tubing because, quite frankly, they could look at me and see that I could not physically handle it. And this year was the first year that they had started to ask, hey, do you think you're going to be able to go on a hike with us? Or, hey, could you do the zip line? Or, hey, what about doing this with us? And I had to tell them again, hey, listen, I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be. And it was good. I think they believed it too. They saw it. My kids have been very encouraging. Emotionally, it has been a release of not just pounds, but also some baggage. Something that got to me Sunday, and quite honestly, I had to walk around the corner because I was beginning to tear up a little bit. Somebody stopped me and just complimented me on how well I was moving. They said, you're just moving well. You've got a bounce in your step, and that was gone months ago. It wasn't there. I was not only handling a large amount of weight, 2 to 3 average sized men, but there was a lot of emotional baggage relating to failures, all the different times that I had tried to lose weight. Quite frankly, to everybody that's listening, this isn't the first time I've lost 50 pounds, but this is the first time that I've done it healthfully. and in a metered fashion. I haven't been starving myself, so there's no guilt if I choose to, have a little, something extra throughout the day because there's a plan in place. There's shakes, there's cleanse days. And so dealing with that emotional baggage has given me a lot of balance. Whereas before there was a lot of highs and a lot of lows with, oh, wow, I only had this amount of calories, or, oh, shoot, I had 4 times the amount of calories I should have had. Just not having to deal with that right now. It's celebrate the victories. If there is a failure, deal with it, compare it to the program, see if I caused it, and just keep moving forward with it. It's been very helpful to deal with some of this emotional baggage.
I've been sitting here listening to your story, and I've had the privilege of me talking with you in person, so I don't know how much that plays in, but I'm just have so much respect for you right in this moment. I wonder are you feeling that from other people?
Somewhat. I not to just bore people with personal anecdotes, but my parents also live in the same town where I go to the gym and our church ministry is located. We don't live in the same town, but our lives intersect. And my dad is a landscaper, owns his own grounds maintenance company. And so this past Saturday, I was driving through town, and he was at one of his contracts by himself. It's 98 degrees here today. It was about 97 this past Saturday, and I was headed to the gym. And I had a plan. I got to go get my elliptical in, my bike training in, but I couldn't get the thought of my dad out there in the heat by himself. So I stopped, got out of the truck, pulled a weed eater off his truck and trailer, and just went to work. I did. I asked him if it was okay, and he kind of looked at me and said, "Are you sure you want to do this? It is ridiculously hot out here." And in about an hour or so, I had it done, and he was finishing up his part of the property, and he came and put his arm around me, and he said, he said, "You're getting it back." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I'm not sure what it is, but it's coming back." And he said, "It's good to have you out here." And so, around Father's Day, that was a pretty big emotional moment for both of us. And other people have noticed. My daughters, have made different comments. They're not sure what's happening, but they know something's happening. And they're a little too young to appreciate it, but they see it.
Wow, man, thank you. I know that's I'm probing pretty deeply here in a very short amount of time, but thank you for sharing that. Just I did it because I know who you are, and you have a way of articulating that is I love to hear you. I hope at some point you'll do some kind of a podcast or an audio video blog or something, because I would love to hear you talk. Well, I didn't want this to really go on too long. What is your, as you see the future, what is your kind of plan? I mean, you're going to cross this 400 threshold. Do you have an ultimate weight that you'd like to be, or are you more focused on just maintaining this healthy lifestyle and let happen whatever will happen?
That's a great question. The first month was very competitive. It was very, let's release as much as possible, tied to that 30-day challenge. The second month, due to my personal schedule and church schedule, turned into more of a maintenance month. I was out of town for 2 weeks, Vacation Bible School. You were here for Vacation Bible School. And so what was great is month 2 was a kind of a maintenance style month, the way I scheduled out, but still had 14 or 15 pounds that was able to be released at that point. This month has been kind of weird to get off to a start. My wife is pregnant, so we've had extra doctor's visits and different things that have slowed me down. So the competitive side of me looks forward to the next 30-day challenge. I love to compete. As far as where the final finish line is at number-wise, I'm not sure. I know the weight I got married at. I know the weight I graduated high school at. So, I mean, I know the numbers, but as a middle-aged man, I'm not sure just where the health side of it is going to take me. I'd like to see my blood pressure get a little bit more of a crisp number. The cholesterol number's great. So I struggle to put a final number on it at this stage of the game.
Sure, sure. Well, I tell you what, we're going to be watching and enjoying the victories along with you. And, you know, the fundamental principle of isogenics is you put great fuel in your body, and the body does miraculous things with it. And I can see that happening for you. I'm gonna bring the broadcast to a close here, just for the sake of keeping it concise. But thank you so much for sharing with us. I appreciate it, and I know everybody who watches this in the future will appreciate it as well.
Well, thank you for your time, and I look forward to continuing to working with you, Dave. Appreciate your friendship, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, man.